So I got halfway through recording this video and I realised I was on the S&Q setting on my camera, which I don't know what it does or what it's good for. All I know is that you start moving in slow motion and it cuts out all the sound. But thank God I never got till the end of the video, because I would have probably just sacked the whole thing off. So only halfway. So we're going to redo it from the top. And anyway, in this video today, I'm going to talk you through the best process on how to rebound from a fat loss phase, a cut, a diet, whatever word you want to use, because it's done really incorrectly all the time, and a lot of people end up wasting 4 or 5 months worth of progress in just a matter of weeks. So I'm going to make sure that that doesn't happen to you. Obviously this would have been good to get out a few weeks ago, just coming off the back of summer where most people do their fat loss phases, but better late than never, I suppose. And some of you might be at the tail end of a diet just now, or some of you, this just might be good for future reference. But anyway, I'm going to make sure that you rebound in the best and most efficient way possible. But before I tell you on what you should be doing, if you could please repay the favour and give me a wee like and subscribe to the channel if you aren't already, because it helps me out massively, and I don't see why you wouldn't, because it doesn't cost you anything anyway. So it would be greatly appreciated if you could do that for me, and I will repay you in top quality content. So I'm going to give you 2 disclaimers before we fully get into this. First of all, I'm going to explain this in the most dumbed down language possible that's going to make it so easily for you to understand and rationalize in your head. If you haven't watched any of my content before, or you've not even noticed since watching my content, I am not Mr. Science Guy. I'm not going to start confusing you with technical jargon that you don't need to know. I'm just going to put it in simple terms, and maybe terms that aren't strictly scientifically speaking correct, but it's just the easiest way for you to make sense of in your head, and this is all based on the evidence I've correlated through years of my own practice with myself and also my clients. And secondly, this is going to be rebounding from a diet that's like a normal person like me or you would do. We're not talking about the extreme diets that a bodybuilder would do when they're going to be like 5 or 6% body fat on stage, extremely depleted and dehydrated, because the process of how to rebuild from that is going to be totally different. So this is just for anyone who's maybe just went through a general fat loss phase, beach shape, maybe a fitness photo shoot, that type of thing. And it's just the process that you should be following for that, and it's when you've got as lean as you get for you. And again, if you're a bodybuilder watching this, not really for you. I don't know why you'd be a bodybuilder watching this, but if you are, hello, hi, and hopefully you can write in a comment as well and say, yeah, that's 100% right, and just good for the algorithm and all that. So the very first thing you're going to do when you're at the end of a fat loss phase, you've got to the end date or you've hit the target goal, whatever it may be, the very first thing you're going to do is start to eat maintenance calories again. So let's just say, random numbers to hopefully make sense of it, let's just say you've got down to 80 kilos body weight and you've done that eating 2,000 calories a day for the last little period, and that's put you in about a 150 calorie a day deficit, and you've done that from when you weighed 82 kilos. So you've lost your last 2 kilos in a 150 calorie a day deficit. So the very first thing I'd be doing is I'd be adding those calories back in, and I'd be doing that for roughly 3 to 4 weeks. Now, when you do that, one of 2 things are going to happen. First of all, or first thing that may happen is you will maintain that same 80 kilos body weight, or what might actually happen is you might actually continue to drop a little bit of weight here and there. And the reason that happens is because your body is now used to operating at that lighter body weight and at the lesser amount of calories and the less amount of body fat. So it basically knows how to operate at it, and it can operate at it more efficiently. And that extra 150 calories a day, because it isn't much, that isn't actually enough to start pushing your body weight back up in your body. It's not enough for your body to start storing that again. And what that basically does is that extra 150 calories that comes in, that goes straight into the energy bank, and you just expend that calories throughout the day, through your training, through your NEAT, and just through just the general stuff that you do. And then what actually happens is that extra 150 calories sometimes gives you a little basically spurt that helps you burn even more calories than that 150, and that's why sometimes your body weight can actually just drop down ever so slightly. If you start ramming yourself full of like excess calories, like 500 a day, some people even do 1,000 a day, you're going to feel great for like a week or 2, and you're going to swell up and you're going to feel massive, and you probably will look a little bit bigger while still being fairly lean. But after that 2 weeks, it's just all going to go to shit. And what's going to happen is you're just going to smooth over, and you're just going to start fattening up again. And you won't even have looked like you lost all that fat in the first place. So don't think when you're just finishing dieting that you can just ram yourself full of food and it's not going to make a difference, because again, any sort of benefit that you get from it is going to just go like that, and you're just going to go back to square one. And again, all your hard work that you've spent dieting down to look as best as you can, that's just all going to be wasted. Now, in terms of the actual scale here, that is somewhat inconsequential. Obviously, it's good to keep an eye on and just see where you're at, but your main metrics of, you know, your calorie consumption and the effect it has should be obviously on the physique itself, on your performance, how you're getting on in the gym, and just your general energy levels as well. Like if you add in those extra little bit of calories and you just feel so much better, feel stronger, you're getting stronger, and you just feel like better, and you're starting to, you know, just look a little bit more, you know, full and pumped up while still being lean, then that is like the main thing that you need to worry about rather than what the scale actually says. So you go through that initial period of adding in the extra calories back in, I would say somewhere around 3 or 4 weeks. And what I would do from this point, I would be adding in at that point another extra 150 to 200 calories a day. And those extra calories, that should be enough to start pushing your body weight back up. And I would probably, without like forcing it back up, I would be actively just trying to push your body weight back up, because you went through the diet, you've then had a little maintenance period, and if you start to add in extra calories then on top of that, and that should be enough for you to start pushing your body weight back up. And because you've went through the diet and then basically a maintenance period after it, you'll be in a really good position to start pushing your body weight up, start building muscle, getting stronger whilst being as lean as possible. And obviously I imagine if you spent all that time dieting, you would like to stay fairly lean for a decent period of time without, you know, just blowing it all within a few weeks. The only way you're ever going to limit your fat gain when you're in a growth phase is by just adding in calories slowly. And to build muscle and get stronger, you don't need a massive excess amount of calories. You don't need 500 a day. You don't need an extra 1,000 a day. An extra 200 a day, maybe 250, 300 if you're a hard gainer. That is really all that you need. And if everything's on point and you're, you know, the consistency of what you're eating is right and your training's on point and you're just obviously consistent with everything, I promise you that will be enough for you to start building lean muscle and getting stronger. And as I said, I would be keeping an eye on the scale and trying to just actively push it up. And quite simply, when your body weight starts to level off and when you stop gaining body weight, at that point just rinse and repeat and add in another extra 150 to 200 calories a day, and that's all you need, and that should see you starting to push the scale back up. And even if the scale doesn't go up, if you add in those extra calories and you're performing even better and getting even stronger and seeing visual changes, then that's brilliant. Like that is the most important thing you need to worry about rather than the scale. Don't get too caught up in what the scale says. Obviously it is a metric and I am telling you to, you know, keep an eye on it, but it shouldn't actually be dictating your progress and the decisions that you make. But in this instance, I think, you know, if you have done these stages properly, you should be able to visually see that, yeah, I'm still pretty lean and I can put on another little bit of body weight. So in this case, I'm going to try and push it up. And over time, the scale will gradually become less important and you will eventually get to a point where you're just at a good level of body fat, where you're strong and you're building muscle, and you don't actually need to just do anything with it, and you're just pretty much eating at your new maintenance calories. And again, another thing that I disagree with that a lot of people do is you're either in a growth phase or you're in a fat loss phase. There's never just a main gain phase, which is the phase that I think you should be in most of the time, because that's where you can be most consistent at in terms of your strength and your physique. But anyway, that's a slightly different conversation. But yeah, don't get too caught up in constantly having to bulk or cut, because you're just going to be in this never-ending yo-yo cycle. Over time, scale isn't going to become quite as important, but what is important is your performance, and that is probably the only other time that I would ever look to add in extra calories. So even if the scale's going up, if your performance starts to level off a wee bit and you hit a few wee plateaus in your lift, at that point, that's another great time to add in extra calories. And that extra calories that you consume, that might be the little kick that you need just to push you forward again. And I've done this loads of time with clients where we're kind of past the point of caring about the scale and we're just, you know, focusing on our performance, and the lifts slow down a little bit, the progress slows down, comes a little bit harder to come by, and again, adding that extra 150 to 200 calories a day, and even just that little is enough just to kick everything on. So over time, if you do feel like you need an extra little bit of calories to help your performance in the gym, then so be it, that's totally fine. But just again, doesn't need to be 500, 150 to 200. And last little point on the lifting front as well, obviously at the start of a program and the start of a phase, you don't actually need that much calories because the training's not going to be, massively hard. It's not going to be going hell for leather, but over time you're going to build yourself up to full throttle, and you obviously want to save the calories for when you actually need them, rather than on week one where you're going to be training at like a 6 or 7 out of 10, because all that extra calories you're consuming is just going to go to waste because you don't actually need them. So save your extra calories for when you need them down the line on your program. So the whole outcome of this is you're going to get so much stronger and build so much more muscle while sitting at a lighter body weight and being less fat, which I feel like is a win on all fronts, unless there is some weird reason that I've not thought of that you would want to try and get as fat as possible in a short period of time. So hopefully this has helped you out, and if you're unsure about anything I've said or you're still not convinced, please drop me a message. I'd be happy to help you out, or feel free to go on my website, go on my client results section, and you'll see loads of the guys on there that have followed this process and have cut down and have started to build back up again following that, and I can pick and point you to who's done what if you want, or you can just have a look for yourself and just see that the proof is in the pudding. So once again, if this has helped you out, please like and subscribe. All social media links is in the description below. My coaching inquiry form is also linked down there if you do need help with your training, so feel free to have a little look at that. And I'm also going to be back on the new videos every Sunday vibes, so keep an eye on the channel and please watch every video that comes out because it's going to be full of good shit. That's all from me, and I will see you in the next video.